All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at Nigerian investment opportunities.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. And we'll be working with a YouTube video from an investment expert, Financial Jennifer.
Okay, yeah. I've seen her channel. She's great.
Yeah. And she lays out these 5 different ways to grow your wealth
Nice.
in Nigeria. And the cool thing is she frames it all as like, you can get started with just 100,000 Naira.
Which is what, like 200 US dollars?
Yeah, something like that.
So pretty accessible for a lot of people.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So she starts off with this bold claim, and it's a headline grabber. She says that the Nigerian stock market has outperformed the U.S. S&P 500.
Oh, wow, this year.
Yeah, this year.
All right.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's an interesting one. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to say, right? Like whether it's a trend or just kind of a lucky streak.
Right.
But I do think, there's a few things going for Nigeria right now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of the largest economies in Africa.
For sure.
It's got this really young and growing population, so there's definitely like a built-in engine for growth.
Yeah, so there's a foundation there.
Exactly. It's not just hype.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say I'm new to investing in Nigeria.
Uh-huh.
Where do I even begin?
Well, um, Financial Jennifer talks about FGN savings bonds as a great starting point.
Okay, and what is that exactly?
So FGN stands for the Federal Government of Nigeria.
Okay.
And essentially it's like a loan that you give to the government.
Mm.
And they're considered pretty low risk because they are backed by the government.
Right.
So your principal is pretty much guaranteed at maturity.
That's nice for people who are looking to just, play it safe.
Exactly. Prioritize that stability. And the cool thing is you earn interest quarterly.
Oh, nice. So it's not like you have to wait
Right.
years and years.
Exactly. And she actually gives this really great example. She talks about a student who's studying abroad, and they're using these bonds to actually cover bills back home.
Oh, wow. That's smart.
Yeah. So it's like, you can kind of see that passive income potential.
Absolutely. So it's like a real world example.
Yeah. Makes it much more relatable.
Yeah. Now, what if I'm looking for something that's a little bit shorter term?
So in that case, you might want to look into treasury bills.
Okay.
And they're also government-backed securities.
Oh, okay.
Similar to FGN savings bonds, but they usually have shorter maturities.
Gotcha.
So we're talking like less than a year typically.
Okay.
And with treasury bills, instead of getting those quarterly interest payments,
Uh-huh.
you receive the entire interest payment all at once
Okay. Oh, right.
when the bill matures.
So if you need a quicker return, this would be
Right. That's a good option if you're looking for that.
interesting. Okay. Now, she did mention 2 different ways to invest in treasury bills.
Yeah. So there's 2 main ways to do it. If you're investing a pretty large sum, think, upwards of like 50 million Naira,
Wow. Okay.
you can go directly through a commercial bank and buy them on what's called the primary market.
Okay.
But if you're, working with a smaller amount, like we're talking about here,
Right.
that 100,000 Naira, you can easily purchase them through a brokerage account.
Okay.
There's all these online platforms now.
Yeah. So that's cool. It's cool that there's these, fintech companies, brokerage accounts.
Yeah, it's really opened things up for,
Yeah,
everyday investors.
for sure. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about these fintech platforms because she seems...
She's really into those.
Yeah. So she mentions these platforms like Optimus, PiggyVest, and Cowrywise, and she's highlighting the potential for really impressive returns.
Yeah, especially compared to like traditional banks.
Yes. So what is it about these platforms that allows them to potentially...
Well, I think it really comes down to technology. They're able to leverage technology to offer both higher returns and easier access for investors.
Okay.
It's all very user-friendly.
Mm.
You can invest in a variety of different things, everything from savings plans to mutual funds,
Right.
and it's all right there at your fingertips.
That's so convenient. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah. And she actually says that she's seen returns of up to 20% on Optimus,
Wow, that's...
which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's significantly higher than what you'd get from a traditional bank.
For sure.
Yeah. And what's cool about Optimus is it's actually backed by Afrinvest,
Okay.
which is one of Nigeria's leading investment banks. So
So it's not like some fly-by-night operation.
right. It gives you
Okay.
that sense of security
Yeah.
and credibility. So I think,
Especially if you're new.
yeah, if you're new to this, that can be really reassuring.
Yeah, for sure. But what about the risk?
Hmm.
I mean, are these platforms riskier than traditional banks?
That's a really good question. And I think it's something we should definitely,
Explore.
yeah, dig into a little deeper as we keep going here.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that, with higher potential returns
Yeah.
often comes higher risk.
Right.
So it's about, finding that balance.
Yeah.
That's right for you.
Okay. So speaking of balancing, let's talk about these money market mutual funds
Yeah.
that she mentions.
Those are interesting.
Yeah, because she kind of highlights them as a way to, potentially earn solid returns,
Hmm.
but still keep your principal safe.
Yes. So with money market mutual funds,
Yeah.
it's basically like you're pooling your money with other investors
Okay.
to buy these low risk instruments like treasury bills. And the key benefit here is really capital preservation.
So you're not going to lose money.
Ideally not. No.
Okay.
It's, your investment shouldn't decrease in value.
That's pretty appealing to a lot of people, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. If you're, risk averse.
Yeah.
Or if you just really prioritize protecting your capital.
Yeah, so it's like you're
So-
building that safety net.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. Are there any specific money market mutual funds that stand out to you in Nigeria?
So, did you ever mention Stanbic and Pluto APF?
Okay.
And those are both actually available on the Optimus platform,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of nice, and they offer some pretty attractive interest rates.
Like what kind of rates are we talking?
Over 20% for Stanbic and 18% for Pluto APF.
Wow, that's pretty good for a low risk.
Yeah, it really demonstrates the potential,
Yeah.
even within that lower risk.
Yeah. It's amazing how many options there are
I know, right?
and how accessible they are.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, let's talk about ETFs.
Okay.
Exchange traded funds.
Hmm.
And she uses this great analogy.
Yeah, it's a small chop.
Yeah, it's like a diverse platter of snacks.
Yes, it's a perfect way to think about it.
Yeah, so can you kind of break that down?
So basically, instead of picking individual stocks, right?
Yeah.
An ETF is like a prepackaged selection of different stocks.
Okay.
And it gives you exposure to a particular sector or market.
Oh, okay. So it's like a basket.
It is. It's like a basket of stocks.
Gotcha. Now, she mentioned that she actually prefers U.S. ETFs.
Yeah, she does mention that.
Like, why is that?
Well, she mentions that they often offer, better performance and lower costs. And that's, likely due to just the maturity and depth
Yeah.
of the U.S. stock market.
Right. So even though we're talking about Nigerian investment opportunities,
Yeah.
we still got to keep that global perspective.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing. I feel like we've covered so much already, and
I know we just scratched the surface.
yeah, this is just the beginning of
Yeah.
our deep dive here.
Yeah. And there's so much more to explore. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to keep going.
Yeah, me too. All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. In part one, we kind of, gave you a taste of those 5 different investment opportunities in Nigeria.
Right. Like the appetizer platter.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's roll up our sleeves.
Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, and dig into the how-tos
Like
of
breaths.
actually, making these investments.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
So where should we start?
Well, I think, we were talking about those FGN savings bonds.
Yeah.
And those seem like, a really good starting point for beginners, especially with that government backing.
Yeah.
But, how do you actually go about investing in one?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's like we talked about the what.
Right. The what is it?
That-
Now let's get to that how.
Exactly, the how.
So, Financial Jennifer says that they're offered monthly,
Okay.
and you can actually start with as little as 5,000 Naira.
Wow. That's really accessible.
Yeah, and you'll need a brokerage account. But those are, pretty easy to set up these days.
So is it just like downloading an app?
Pretty much. Yeah, she uses one called Invest 2.0,
Okay.
but there are other options out there too.
So it's pretty straightforward.
It is. It's become a lot easier.
That's great.
And actually, she mentions that her channel actually provides updates on when those new offerings are available.
Oh, okay.
So if you're interested in those,
Subscribing could be a good move.
yeah, subscribing to her channel could
Yeah.
be a smart idea.
Awesome tip. Now let's talk returns.
Okay.
Is there a kind of straightforward way to estimate,
Like how much you'd earn.
yeah, how much interest you'd earn on one of these bonds?
Well, she lays out this simple calculation, right?
Okay.
You take the interest rate, which has been, quite high lately. Sometimes it's reached like 18%.
Wow.
And then you calculate that percentage of your investment. And then since the interest is paid out quarterly, you just divide that annual interest by 4.
Oh, okay. So it's like,
easy.
so if I invest 100,000 naira at, say, 18%,
Huh?
I'd get 18,000 naira over the year
Exactly.
and then divide that by 4, and that's my quarterly payment.
That's your quarterly payout, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's a pretty decent return.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Especially for something that's considered low risk.
Exactly. And it's consistent, too, which I think is...
Yes. And that's, one of the reasons why these FGN savings bonds are so popular,
Makes sense.
especially for people who are just looking to build, a reliable source of passive income.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So let's switch gears to the treasury bills.
Okay.
Now, we know they offer, that lump sum interest payment at maturity,
Right.
but how do you actually, buy one?
So she explained that for larger investments, like over 50 million naira,
Okay.
you can actually go directly through commercial banks and buy them on what's called the primary market.
Okay.
But, for smaller amounts, like the 100,000 naira we're talking about,
Yeah, okay.
you can purchase them through your brokerage account
Okay.
on, one of those online platforms.
So the same platform as the FGN savings bonds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can all be done in the same place.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she did mention this interest upfront option.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah. Can you break that down?
Yeah, so basically, you receive that calculation interest payment, like immediately
Oh, wow.
when you invest. So
So you give them your 100,000 naira,
uh
and they give you the interest.
you get the interest right away.
Okay.
And then at maturity, you just get your initial investment back.
So it's like a discount.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it provides, some flexibility
Yeah.
and some immediate cash flow.
Right.
But as with any investment strategy,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's important to weigh those pros and cons
For sure. For sure.
and see if it aligns with your goals.
Okay. Okay. So speaking of flexibility, let's dive back into those fintech platforms.
Okay.
We talked about those impressive potential returns,
Right.
but what are, the practicalities?
The logistics, yeah.
Yeah, of using a platform like Optimus, for example.
So Optimus offers a variety of savings plans,
Okay.
all with different interest rates.
Okay.
And you can choose to lock your funds for a set period of time.
Okay.
Say 3 months, 6 months, a year.
Mhm.
And typically, the longer you lock it in, the higher that interest rate.
Oh, okay. So there's like an incentive to lock it in for longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they also have this flexible option
Oh, okay.
called Flex.
Okay.
And that offers a lower rate,
Okay.
but it's still, competitive.
Okay. So you have options basically,
You have options.
depending on what your goals are.
Exactly. What you need.
That's great. So when do you actually get the interest payments?
So the interest is actually compounded monthly.
Oh, okay.
And added directly to your Optimus account.
Wow.
So you kind of watch it grow.
That's cool. So you can see it in real time.
You can. Yeah.
Wow. That's got to feel good.
It is kind of satisfying. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, we talked about how Optimus is backed by this leading investment bank.
Right.
But are there any, potential downsides to using these fintech platforms?
I mean, it's important to remember that while they offer this convenience
Yeah.
and potentially these high returns,
Right.
it's really important to do your due diligence.
So like what kind of things should people be looking for?
Well, look into the platform's security measures.
Mm-hmm.
Read user reviews.
Okay.
Make sure you really understand the risks
Right.
associated with any investment product that they offer.
So just don't just jump in because it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do your research.
Yeah.
Make informed decisions.
Informed decisions are the best decisions.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So let's circle back to those money market mutual funds.
Yeah,
She
super.
highlighted Stanbic and Pluto APF
Yeah.
as being particularly attractive.
Yeah.
But what makes them stand out?
So, remember these funds, they pool money
Mm-hmm.
from multiple investors
Okay.
to invest in those low risk instruments like treasury bills.
Right.
So you benefit from diversification,
Okay.
right? Which helps to spread risk.
Gotcha.
And plus, these particular funds are managed by, very reputable players in the Nigerian investment landscape.
Okay, so who are we talking about?
So, Stanbic is managed by Stanbic IBTC Asset Management,
Okay.
and then Pluto APF is managed by Pluto Capital.
Okay.
So, they're experienced professionals
Gotcha.
who are making these, investment decisions on your behalf.
So you don't have to do all the work.
Yeah, if you don't have the time or maybe the expertise, you can kind of leverage their knowledge and experience.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So now let's revisit those tasty ETFs.
Oh, yeah, the small chops.
Yes, the small chops.
What a great analogy.
It's a good one. Now she seemed to lean towards those US ETFs like VO and VGT.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just remind us, like, what are those?
Yeah, so VO, that's also known as the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF.
Okay.
And that tracks the performance of the S&P 500 index, which is 500 of the largest U.S. companies.
Right.
And then you have VGT, that's the Vanguard Information Technology ETF.
Okay.
And that one focuses on technology companies
Okay.
that are listed on U.S. exchanges.
Gotcha.
And her preference, might just stem from the fact that those U.S. ETFs, often offer better performance and lower costs.
Right, because of that depth.
Right, exactly.
The U.S. market.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so VO gives you that broad slice of the U.S. market.
And then VGT is more targeted towards tech.
It's more sector specific.
Yeah. So it's amazing how you can, tailor your investments based on your risk tolerance.
Right. And your interests and your goals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not one size fits all.
And that diversification is so key.
It is. Just like those small chops.
Yeah.
It's about creating a balanced platter.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
With those investments. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've covered a lot of ground in this episode.
Yes.
Moving from the what to the how.
From theory to practice.
Yeah, exactly. And we've explored how to actually buy those FGN savings bonds and treasury bills. We dove into the fintech platforms like Optimus.
Yep.
Revisited those ETFs.
Right.
So what are some key takeaways you think our listeners should keep in mind as they're considering these options?
Well, I think the most exciting thing is just how accessible investing in Nigeria is becoming.
Yeah. Whether you're starting with a small amount
right.
or you have, a significant sum to invest, there are options out there to help you grow your wealth.
It's really cool.
It is. And I think, what we've discussed today, it's really just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there to learn and explore.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And speaking of exploring, we're not done yet.
We're not. There's more.
There's more to come. So in part 3 of our deep dive, we're gonna wrap things up with some essential considerations for making those informed investment decisions.
Right. We've got to make sure everyone's making smart choices.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about managing risk. And then we'll give you some resources to help you, continue on this investment journey.
Keep the momentum going, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've really gone deep, haven't we?
We have. It's been a journey.
Yeah, through all these Nigerian investment opportunities.
It's like a side experience.
We talked about government bonds, fintech platforms, ETFs. But before anyone jumps in head first.
Yeah, we gotta.
Let's take a step back and talk about some practical considerations.
That's like, it's like planning a trip.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just set off without a map or packing the right gear.
Exactly. Yeah. You gotta be prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that our listeners should be thinking about before they make any investment decisions?
Yeah. What should they have in mind?
So, Financial Jennifer, she really stresses the importance of aligning your investment choices with your own personal financial goals.
Okay.
Right. And your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
And also your investment horizon.
Right.
Right. So, are you saving for a short-term goal, like a down payment on a house? Or are you looking to build long-term wealth for retirement?
Right. Okay.
So, your investment strategy should really reflect.
It should match. Yeah.
Your circumstances and your goals.
Yeah. Find the right fit for you.
Exactly.
Okay. So once you have a general sense of your goals, what about researching those specific investment options?
Yeah. So, Financial Jennifer, She's a big advocate for thorough research.
Yeah, take your time.
Yes. Take your time. Don't get caught up in the excitement of a potential investment.
Right.
Really take the time to understand.
Understand those risks.
Yeah, the risk and the potential rewards.
And don't just, like you said, don't jump in just because it sounds good.
Exactly. Dig deeper, compare different options.
Uh-huh.
And if you need to,
yeah,
you can always seek advice from a qualified financial professional.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, measure twice, cut once.
That's a good one.
Right. Do your homework.
Do your homework, yeah.
Before you commit your money.
Exactly. It's an important decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of resources, she did mention a few different platforms and resources throughout the video.
She did, yeah.
For brokerage accounts, she recommended Invest 2.0.
Yeah, which seems, pretty user-friendly.
Yeah, and easy to use.
It offers a good variety of options.
Okay. And then for the fintech platforms, she really liked Optimus by Afrinvest.
Right, that was her favorite.
But she also mentioned PiggyVest and Cowrywise as alternatives.
Yeah, and those are definitely worth checking out, too.
Yeah. So we have some solid starting points.
We do. There's no shortage of resources out there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about something that I think, a lot of people kind of get nervous about when it comes to investing, and that's risk.
Right. Risk is always a big one.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that risk is inherent in any investment. But it's not something to be afraid of.
Yeah, you don't have to run away from it.
Exactly. It's about understanding it.
Right.
Understanding the potential for losses.
Yeah.
But also, balancing that against the potential for gains.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can our listeners, they kind of approach risk in a smart way?
Well, I think, diversification is absolutely key.
Diversify.
Okay.
Yes.
By spreading your investments across different asset classes,
okay,
different industries, different geographic regions, you can really help mitigate that risk.
Okay.
And potentially enhance your returns as well.
Gotcha. So it's all about building that balanced portfolio.
Exactly. Like Financial Jennifer's small chops analogy.
Like small chops.
You want a variety.
You want a little bit of everything.
You want a little bit of everything, yeah. You don't want just,
Yeah. Okay.
one or two things on your plate.
And it makes it fun too, right?
It does. Investing doesn't have to be boring.
No, not at all.
It can be exciting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I think one of the things that really comes through in Financial Jennifer's video is that, investing isn't just for the wealthy elite.
Right. It's for everyone.
Yeah. There are options available for everyone.
Regardless of your income.
Yeah, regardless of your income level.
Or your, financial expertise.
Yeah, it's about taking that first step.
It is.
Whether it's opening that brokerage account, exploring those fintech platforms, or just, educating yourself.
Yeah, learn as much as you can.
Yeah, about the opportunities that are out there.
Exactly.
What a powerful message.
It is.
It's been an incredible deep dive.
It has. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Into these Nigerian investment opportunities.
Yeah, we went from, understanding those broader market trends to exploring specific investment vehicles and now to, really thinking about how to make those informed decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, how to actually take action.
Exactly.
All right, so any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
I think what I'm taking away from this is just, Financial Jennifer's passion.
Yeah, she's great.
For empowering her audience,
Yeah.
It's not just about giving information. It's about, giving people the tools.
Yeah.
To take control of their financial futures.
Absolutely. And that's something that, we try to do here on the deep dive as well.
We do.
Knowledge is power.
But action.
But action is what creates change.
Creates change, yes.
All right. On that note, I think that's a wrap on our Nigerian investment deep dive.
That was fun.
Yeah. We hope you found it informative, inspiring.
And empowering.
And empowering, yeah. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.